Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of John, the 19th chapter. Then Pilate therefore took Yahweh Shai and scourged him, right? That is to beat him, to whip him. And Pilate didn't do it himself. Those soldiers who did that. And the soldiers plaited a crown of thorns and put it on his head. And they put on him a purple robe, and this was to mock him, King of the Jews. So there goes a crown, and there's a purple robe, that royalty, and said, "Hail, King of the Jews!" And they smote him with their hands. So punched him, at this point he's probably bleeding, yeah. It says here, Pilate therefore went forth again, and saith unto them, Behold, I bring him forth unto you. So I'm gonna give him up to you. I'm gonna let him go, that ye may know that I find no fault in him. There's nothing wrong in this man for me to put him to death. So I'm gonna just give him back to y'all. Then came Yahushua forth, wearing the crown of thorns and the purple robe. And Pilate saith unto them, Behold the man. When the chief priest therefore saw, the chief priest therefore and officers saw him, they cried out, saying, Crucify him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, Take ye him and crucify him, for I find no fault in him. I'm not going to condemn him to death. There ain't nothing wrong with the man. You go and crucify him. The Jews answered him, We have a law, and by our law he ought to die, because he made himself the Son of God. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he was the more afraid. You said the Son of God? And likely, it doesn't say it, but in one of the other Gospels, I forget which one it was, but it said that his wife told him, You better leave this man alone, because I've suffered many things in a dream because of him. Now, she may have said more to him that just wasn't written, but it's possible that when they said that might have rung a bell as to what his wife might have told him. And now he's like, oh shit, I definitely gotta, I'm really not trying to put this guy to death, because if that's truly the case, man, look. And went again, so he was the more afraid, and went again into the judgment hall. Remember, the Jews didn't go in there because they didn't want to be defiled, as per them. So he goes back into the judgment hall, and saith unto Yahushua, Whence art thou? So who are you? Where are you from? What's going on here? What are you talking about, the Son of God? What's up? What's up with that? But Yahushua gave him no answer. Then saith Pilate unto him. So you can see he started getting a little stressed here. Then saith Pilate unto him, Speakest thou not unto me? So you gonna ignore me? Knowest not thou, or knowest thou not, that I have power to crucify thee, and have power to release thee? Yahushua answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. It's like if you've seen a movie, and then you go to watch the movie again with somebody who hasn't seen the movie, and they're giving you all these theories about how it can go, how a certain scene can go, but you've already seen it. You know what happens. They're like, no, ain't no way. Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's only gonna happen one of two ways. He's either gonna do this or he's gonna do that. Just watch. And in your head, you're like, bro, I've seen the movie already. He does neither of those things. So like Yahushua, that's why when Pilate said this, I have the power to crucify you or let you free. Yahushua, his mind, he's like, bro, your words are so irrelevant right now, because you cannot let me go free, because it's not according to the way it's been said to happen, I'm gonna be crucified. So you telling me you can let me release me, it doesn't mean anything, because that's not gonna happen. Yahushua answered, Thou couldst have no power at all against me, except it were given thee from above. So the only power you have is that which the Lord has permitted to happen. You just happen to be in the shoes to give the go ahead on it, but you don't really have any power. Therefore, he that delivered me unto thee hath the greater sin. So, and he was referring to those wicked Jews, the scribes and Pharisees, and the high priests basically those that condemned Yahushua, that brought him and delivered him onto the hands of Pilate. And from thenceforth, Pilate sought to release him. So at this point, he's like, "Look, I'm ready. I'm just about ready to let him go." But the Jews cried out, saying, "If thou let this man go, thou art not Caesar's friend. Whosoever maketh himself a king speaketh against Caesar." So now they try to threaten Pilate with this, because Pilate was afraid. I mean, who wouldn't be afraid? It's like, oh wait, so now you're siding with this man who is speaking against Caesar, and you're basically showing yourself to be adverse to Caesar. That's the direction they try to go with. When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Yahushua forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. Let's look up that that word. So it says here, pavement, a mosaic or tessellated pavement, a place near the Praetorium or Palace of Jerusalem, which is another name for the judgment hall, the Praetorium. It says here, i.e. a tessellated mosaic on which the Roman tribunal was placed. It says of places in the outer courts of the temple. And you have some stuff here on Josephus. So basically, it sounds like a place where they would give out, that. Okay, it says here, this is the Greek equivalent of the Hebrew word Gabbatha. This is the location where Pilate announced judgment upon Hamashiach. So where he would give like that capital punishment, like, okay, this is officially the sentence. Let's look at the Hebrew word for it. Well, it looks like they have a lot more over here. Okay, this place in the Greek tongue was called Lithostrotos, or the pavement of stones, as the Syriac version renders. It is thought to be the room Gazith, in which the Sanhedrin sat in the temple when they tried capital issues, which the Sanhedrin was. It was like the court, okay, of Israel. Let's type that in there. Yeah. So they made an error. Just wanted to confirm the spelling there. Should be Sanhedrin. Sat in the temple when they tried capital issues, and it was so called because it was paved with smooth, square hewn stones. So that's where he went to give out the capital punishment officially against Yahushua. And it was the preparation of the Passover and about the 6th hour, which is about 12 noon. So the preparation of the Passover is before the Passover, right? So the Passover comes in at sundown. The preparation is the time before that, which once again, like I mentioned in the previous lesson, showing that Yahushua at this point he's not about to have the Passover. He's not about to eat the Passover. He already has. So his Passover was kept prior to the Jews' Passover. That's why he was able to be put to death on their Passover, or on that day, you could say, right? So it says here, and about the 6th hour he saith unto the Jews, behold your king. But they cried out, away with him, crucify him. Pilate saith unto them, shall I crucify your king? The chief priests answered, we have no king but Caesar. And you know what's very interesting about that? These are the same Israelites whose forefathers said that they wanted a king, right? Going back to the time of Samuel. Samuel was upset with it, right? But because he was like, the Lord is your king. They said, no, we want a king like the rest of the nations and so on. And then I think in the law it says that basically you shall not set up one that is not of your own people over you. But now they're openly saying here, no, to hell with Yahushua, which is the actual king. We have no king but Caesar. What happened to the Most High? I thought he was the king. Then delivered he him therefore unto them to be crucified. So he basically gave that capital, like that official order. All right, cool. If they want him crucified, then fine, go ahead. And they took Yahushua and led him away. And he, bearing his cross, went forth into a place called the place of a skull, which is called in the Hebrew Golgotha, where they crucified him, and two other with him, on either side, one, and Yahushua in the midst. So he had the two others that were crucified with him, one on the left, one on his right. And Pilate wrote a title and put it on the cross. And the writing was, Yahushua of Nazareth, the King of the Jews. Now this is interesting that Pilate wrote it this way, because it says here, this title then read many of the Jews, for the place where Yahushua was crucified was nigh to the city. So a lot of people coming in or out of the city would be able to see it. And it was written in Hebrew and Greek and Latin. Then said the chief priests of the Jews to Pilate, write not, and these are the priests, write not the King of the Jews, but that he said, I am King of the Jews. So they were saying, no, change the writing from King of the Jews to he said that he was the King of the Jews. Pilate answered, what I have written, I have written. So he didn't change it. So it's a spirit how he wrote it, and he really wrote the truth that Yahushua is the King of the Jews, or King of Israel. And they wanted him to change it to say he was just saying he was King of Israel. Then the soldiers, when they had crucified Yahushua, took his garments and made 4 parts, right? Because they parted it, his clothing, to every soldier a part, and also his coat. Now the coat was without seam, woven from the top throughout, meaning it wasn't stitched together. It was of one part, right? It was one cloak all together. So if you were to rip it, you would destroy it, because it wasn't like different fabrics or different not fabrics but different cloths or material that was stitched together to make a cloak or a coat. And this was on purpose, right? They said therefore amongst themselves, let us not rend it, don't let us tear it, but cast lots for it, because since it's all of one material, let's just cast lots, so whoever gets it gets the whole thing. Whose it shall be, that the scripture might be fulfilled, which saith, they parted my raiment among them, so they divided my clothing among them, and for my vesture, which is his coat, they did cast lots. So because the coat he was wearing was not suitable to be separated, they decided to cast lots, so whoever would get it would get will get it in whole. And that was set up that way to fulfill that prophecy that was written. These things, therefore, the soldiers did. Now there stood by the cross of Yahushua his mother and his mother's sister, Mary the wife of Cleopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Yahushua therefore saw his mother and the disciple standing by, whom he loved, which is talking about John, he saith unto his mother, Woman, behold thy son. Then saith he to the disciple, Behold thy mother. And from that hour, that disciple took her onto his own home. And what he meant by that was, take care of my mother, and to his mother, he's going to be like a son unto you. After this, Yahushua, knowing that all things were now accomplished, that the scripture might be fulfilled, saith, I thirst. So even though he was in excruciating pain, remember what he said, like the example he gave about the woman who is in all this pain, but when she is delivered of the baby, she is in extreme joy. So he was in all this pain and all this anguish and suffering, but the joy was that's the finish line. You're done. So whatever pain you're going through now, it's okay, because you're not going to go through that again. You've done it. You've finished it. Now there was set a vessel full of vinegar, and they filled a sponge with vinegar and put it upon hyssop and put it to his mouth. When Yahushua therefore had received the vinegar, he said, It is finished, and bowed his head and gave up the ghost. So he died. The Jews, therefore, because it was the preparation, that is, the preparation is, if the Sabbath is coming in sundown today, your time of preparing is the daytime before the sun goes down. So as it says here, that the body should not remain upon the cross on the Sabbath day, so before sundown, because that's when the Sabbath would begin. So in order to prevent those bodies from hanging there all throughout, for the Sabbath day was an high day, which was the Passover. And when you read this in the NLT, it tells you that explicitly, right? It was the day of preparation, and the Jewish leaders didn't want the bodies hanging there the next day, which was the Sabbath, and a very special Sabbath because it was the Passover, because the Passover is a Sabbath. So because of that, they besought Pilate that their legs might be broken and that they might be taken away, because then that would speed up their death. And then they could be removed off those crosses and then taken down. Because in the law, I believe you're not supposed to hang. Like if you hang somebody, they're not supposed to stay on there all throughout the night. You got to take their body down before sundown, if I remember correctly. Then came the soldiers and break the legs of the first and of the other, which was crucified with him. So the two other malefactors that were crucified with Yahushai. But when they came to Yahushai and saw that he was dead already, they brake not his legs. But one of the soldiers with a spear pierced his side, and forthwith came there out blood and water. And he that saw it bare record, this is John, and his record is true. And he knoweth that he saith true, that ye might believe. Okay, I'll read this in the NLT as well. This report is from an eyewitness giving an accurate account. He speaks the truth so that you also can believe. For these things were done, that the scripture should be fulfilled. A bone of him shall not be broken, right? So because he was already dead, they didn't break his legs. They didn't break any bones. And again, another scripture saith, they shall look on him whom they pierced. See, because he was actually physically pierced, as it said, with this, not only with just going on the cross, but with his side that the rope that soldier did. That soldier pierced him. Now, how did John know all these things? Because he was writing after the fact, and the Spirit had come upon him, and all these things were brought to their remembrance. And Yahushua expounded onto them on these things. And after this, Joseph of Arimathea, being a disciple of Yahushua, but secretly for fear of the Jews, because he was a part of the council, but he didn't condemn Yahushua, besought Pilate that he might take away the body of Yahushua. And Pilate gave him leave, so he gave him permission. Fine, you can take down the body. He came therefore and took the body of Yahushua. And there came also Nicodemus, which at the first came to Yahushua by night, and brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 100 pound weight. Then took they the body of Yahushua and wound it in linen clothes. So they wrapped it up. They wrapped him up in linen clothes with the spices, as the manner of the Jews is to bury. Now in the place where he was crucified, there was a garden, and in the garden a new sepulchre, which is a like a tomb, a burying place, wherein was never man yet laid. So nobody was ever buried in there. There laid they Yahushua. Therefore, because of the Jews' preparation day, for the sepulchre was nigh at hand. So because the sepulchre was close, they decided, okay, let's just lay him here for now. You know, it's already the preparation. The Sabbath is coming in soon. So, and that brings us to the end of the book of John, the 19th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Ruach HaKodesh. And until next time, Shalom.